I got in one little fight. My mom's got scared. She said, you're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel-Air. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. As you saw from today's title, we are back with another Bel-Air review, y'all.
So, y'all, on this week's episode, baby, it was some ish going on. It was some ish going down. It was some family drama going on in the bank's residence. Ooh, wee.
This episode was rightfully titled, No One Wins When the Family Feuds. And baby, it was some shit going on. Okay, so I ain't even gonna talk too much. We're just gonna get right into this week's episode with our recap. So we saw this week's episode open up and we saw Uncle Phil was out with Carlton and some man, y'all, I really do not remember exactly who the man was, but Uncle Phil was meeting with him about the man endorsing Uncle Phil's run for DA. The man ended up telling Uncle Phil like, hey, you need to get your family in check if you think I'm finna endorse you, okay? Because your wife's out here going in on folks.
I know she went in on Angela at the party.
Said your daughter out here putting up thirst trap videos all over the net, and your son is throwing parties that you gotta go get the police to cover up. So, child, if you want an endorsement from me, get your house in order. How you gonna be the DA of the city and you can't even run your household? Get it together. So after this conversation, Uncle Phil ended up telling Carlton like, hey, you know, I had to put some strings so that we can keep this party that got bust down under wraps. And for whatever reason, now all of a sudden Carlton's tune about his daddy breaking the law is done changed, y'all.
Now you don't care because he using his power to help you. You had such a problem when he bailed Will out of some real shit. But now it's like, oh, you helped me get out of this party situation? Thanks, Dad. You're the best. You're great. And it's like, Carlton, boy, you were really just jealous because he helped Will. It wasn't because your daddy broke the law. It didn't have nothing to do with that. You didn't even care about that. You just cared that he helped Will, and you ain't never done nothing to need the, you know, the law to be covered up. But you just wanted to see that your daddy was gonna give you the same treatment that he was giving Will.
And Carlton even told Will in this episode that the reason why he, you know, felt so strongly about him coming out there is that his whole life changed when Will came, and everything that he had to work so hard for, being popular at school, you know, getting good grades, being, you know, the good child in the eyes of his parents, he had to work really hard for all these things. And Will just came out there and automatically got this treatment. Will was that nigga. He got friends, the girls all on him. It was just easy for him. So Carlton resented Will and was definitely jealous of him. So they had a little conversation, and it seems like they might have finally put this Lisa business to rest, okay? Will just needed his eyes to be opened up of what kind of stress he was really causing Carlton, especially with Carlton already dealing with anxiety and all his other issues anyway. Just go back to Uncle Phil real quick in this whole campaign. So, in this episode, Uncle Phil ended up meeting up with Fred Wilkes, y'all, and they decided that they were gonna end this whole thing they got going on with a debate. So when Uncle Phil was talking to old boy earlier in the beginning of the episode, he told him, you know, he told him he needs to get his shit in order, that him and Fred Wilkes were splitting the Democratic vote.
So they really could only have one of them running. Basically, we can only have one nigga in the race. Okay, we can have two niggas, we can only have one nigga.
So Uncle Phil met up with Fred Wilkes, and they decided that the debate that they have coming up will determine who is going to actually run. So they decided that whoever had the most points and is more favorable after this will get the nomination. The other one will back out gracefully and endorse the other.
So y'all, while they was sitting up there talking, Fred Wilkes already threw it in Uncle Phil's face like, yeah, I see you already using your influence to cover up these little parties you having in. Uncle Phil was like, yeah, but your daughter was there too. And ain't nobody get underage drinking tickets or nothing like that, so watch your mouth.
But just knowing that, I definitely got a feeling that Fred Wilkes is gonna find out that Uncle Phil covered up this whole shit for Will, and that shit is going to come out in the debate. I definitely feel like either Lisa gonna find out the tea or something gonna happen. Something's going to happen, and they're going to expose this shit, okay? They're gonna expose it at the debate. Now, y'all do know that Aunt Viv and Will still know about Fred Wilkes cheating on his ex-wife. I don't know if that's gonna come up, but I definitely feel like Fred Wilkes gonna blindside Uncle Phil with this tea, especially because we saw Lisa still trying to get information out of Will. And I kind of feel like the reason why Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv felt so obligated to do this for Will, bring him out there, is because they got something to do with Will Daddy. So let's just get into this whole situation. On this episode, Will turned 17 and his mama, Vi, flew out. Okay, so Vi flew out and immediately was on some bullshit with Aunt Viv. As soon as she walked in the house, she like, I think I'm gonna tell Will about his daddy. So the whole time she's mad, you can tell she's jealous. She resents Aunt Viv.
She's talking
time she there, she kept putting it in Will's ear, bringing up his dad like this whole time or whatever. And it's like, obviously you're going to pique his interest. Obviously now he wants to know more. So you knew what you was doing, girl. So while she doing all this, putting this all in his head, she steady talking about how she was the one who had to put her life on hold to take care of her mama, and how she dropped everything to help Viv pursue her career. And
basically, Aunt Vi came out there to stir up some trouble, okay? She came up there to stir some trouble. They've been out there in 20 years, and you decided to bring your ass out here and just cause some mess.
She told Viv that she was planning on telling Will about his father, and Aunt Viv went to Uncle Phil and was like, she's about to tell him about Luke. And Uncle Phil is immediately like,
the fuck is she on? Like, no, she can't do that.
So this obviously tells us that all of them were involved in whatever happened. So after Aunt Viv told Uncle Phil went to Jeffrey and was like basically telling him that they needed to make sure all of this stays under wraps. And Jeffrey and Uncle Phil, you know, it was a little static between them. It was a little tension because Jeffrey like, look, I think about my son, and I want you to think about if somebody tried to keep you away from your son, wouldn't you want your child to have the choice to decide if he want to deal with his pops or not?
Because Jeffrey was basically saying, like, I don't feel like we should just automatically keep Will away from his dad. I feel like we should give him that choice to decide on his own.
Uncle Phil, you know, was like, you never met Lou, but Jeffrey clearly know what happened with Lou. So I'm going to assume that something happened before Will and Viv got rich, got money, because Aunt Vi did say when she was out there the last time 20 years ago, wasn't no mansion, wasn't no money, niggas was broke. So I kind of feel like
the daddy did some bullshit or something, and he had to be the foreman, or him and Uncle Phil was doing some drug shit. Something was going on, and I feel like Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv wanted to try to, you know, make up for their past mistakes by letting Will come out there. I really believe that that's the only reason why they would let Will come out there and disrupt their lives the way that he did.
I don't know what the tea is for real, but Aunt Vi definitely lied to Will, because Will was finally like, look, quit lying to me and tell me what's good, bro.
And she was like, oh, you know, your daddy had a gambling problem, and I used to clean up his messes all around town, and blah, 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 and he ended up just leaving.
So when Aunt Vi and Aunt Viv finally, you know, had a little convo and, you know, got to the root of their issues, their sisterly issues, she told Viv,
I ain't gonna tell him the truth just yet. He ain't ready for it.
so girl, what's tea? What y'all done did?
What have y'all done?
Viv, Phil, and Vi all got something to do with this. And Aunt Viv even said that if we tell him, he's going to hate us. So I definitely feel like they either ran this nigga out of town, they put this nigga in jail, they scapegoated him, they did something to get this nigga in a bad situation. He probably was already on some bullshit, but I feel like they just made it worse. I need to know what this nigga Lou did, okay? And honestly, I feel like we gonna find out from our good old boy Jeffrey.
Because Jeffrey was kind of pissed at Uncle Phil. You could tell, because Jeffrey, it looked like he was about to give his resignation letter to Uncle Phil. He was in his office about to put a letter down. I'm assuming that's just what it was. And
Will walked in and was like, hey, I need you to do me a favor and find out all you can about my pops. Jeffrey was like, hey, I got you. Jeffrey know Will will shut his mouth. Will know Jeffrey gonna shut his mouth. Jeffrey is gonna go behind Phil back and do what he gonna do anyway. But yeah, throughout this episode, Aunt Vi was just there causing trouble. She was mad because she decided to give Will a framed baby picture of himself and her, and Aunt Viv gave him some new exclusive J's, and she like, why you trying to outdo me? It's like, girl. And Aunt Viv got her own troubles anyway, because little do you know, girl, her marriage is on the rocks, okay? So Aunt Viv was painting and was talking about how she trying to win the fellowship.
And Uncle Phil just come in there on bullshit, like, oh yeah, you in here painting for Reed?
Boy, now you concerned? Now you're concerned if she's painting? And from what we can see, Aunt Viv was sleeping in her studio.
not fucking with Uncle Phil right now, okay?
So Aunt Vi, you up here jealous about her man and all this stuff, and girl, her house is in shambles too. And I don't know if it was just me, but when Aunt Vi hugged Uncle Phil, Aunt Viv gave a little look, and I was like,
Is there some history here? Like, I don't know, y'all. I feel like we need some OT on the background of, you know, they upbringing, coming up, all that shit. I've been saying we need to know how Uncle Phil got all this money anyway, but y'all, it's some shit going on between them. We just gonna have to wait and see.
Another thing we gonna have to wait and see on is, y'all, Hillary is homeless. So y'all know Hillary been dealing with her thirsty chef persona or whatever, and she had actually went to her parents in the beginning of the episode and told them like, hey, you know what, I'm not taking this video down and y'all can anticipate me making some more. So Uncle Phil was already pissed because oh boy had had told him, like, hey, you need to get your daughter out here being thirsty and shit. You need to handle your business. And when she said that, Aunt Viv was just like, you know what, Hillary, do whatever you want to. Actually, Hillary was like, no, this ain't me. This ain't what I want to do. And she went to Kylo and said that she wanted to, you know, basically quit the house. So he told her, like, that's fine, but all the content that you created while you were here belongs to me. And you have to pay me a kill fee.
So I don't know how this is gonna turn out, but I definitely feel like it was some footage recorded in that house, and it's gonna come out. I don't know if the party footage from when she first got accepted into the house, and you know that video came out when he was talking to Uncle Phil, like, and all, like, y'all, I don't know, but I feel like it's some footage that was recorded in this house, and dude is gonna use that, and that's also gonna Uncle Phil's campaign.
And she ain't got nowhere to live, and she has to pay him $50,000. And Hillary ain't got no $50,000. So Hillary is homeless. She hasn't told her parents about this. She told Jazz, but nobody else knows. I wonder, like, if her sponsorships are gonna get, you know, vetoed now that she's not in the house and, you know, her content is owned by Kylo. It's just a lot going on, y'all. Between Carlton and his little crackhead way, Hillary being homeless and being thirsty, Will trying to find out stuff about his daddy, and Lisa, you know, snooping in his business, spying for her daddy.
She says she ain't fine, but you're fine. You're being nosy.
She met Will mama and doing too much. Did they tell Aunt Vi when Lisa met her that was Carlton X? I don't think so, but anyway, we're not even gonna go there.
It's just a lot going on. I definitely feel like Lou is gonna either pop up or they gonna expose what he did next episode.
Y'all, wouldn't it be crazy if Will Smith pop up as Lou and play Will Daddy on this show? Like, that would be so cool to me. I hope that's what they do, okay?
Only 2 more episodes left in this season. So, ooh, wee.
It is about to go down.
So next week's episode is entitled Can't Knock the Hustle, and I'm going to read y'all the synopsis real quick.
The Banks family goes to church. Also, Will considers taking the opportunity to find his father, unknowingly driving a wedge between Phil and Jeffrey.
So y'all let me know down below what y'all thought of this week's episode, and let me know what y'all think is going to happen on the last 2 episodes of the season. And before you go, make sure you check out my other TV show reviews. I also review Snowfall, and I review The Power Universe.
And y'all already know the drill. It's free. Y'all know y'all black asses love free shit. So I'm gonna need for you to go on down below and like, comment, and subscribe before you go. And then I'm gonna need for you to go get some money, take care of your skin, drink some water, and mind your business. Okay, thank you. That's all I need for you to do. It's all free. This shit is free.
No, but thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Bye. I pulled up to the house about 7 or 8 a.m. to the cabin. I won't see you later. Looked in my kingdom, I was finally there to sit on my throne as the Prince of Bel-Air.